Hey there. So today we're gonna tackle what is, and I'm not kidding, probably the single most important verb in the entire English language. Trust me, getting this one right is your first big step to having conversations with confidence. So let's just dive right in.
So let me just ask you straight up, what do you think it is? I mean, out of all the thousands of verbs, there's one that's kind of the key that unlocks everything else, from just saying hello to describing something complex. Any ideas?
And the answer is the verb to be. Now, what makes it so special is that it's not an action verb. Instead, it's all about who you are, what something is, or where it's located. It's the absolute foundation for like a million different sentences.
And no, I'm really not exaggerating when I call it the most important verb. Nailing this is basically your golden ticket to speaking and understanding English way more clearly. So let's figure out exactly when you're supposed to use it.
So, where do we actually use it? Well, it pretty much boils down to three essential situations. Once you get the hang of these, you're going to start seeing the verb to be absolutely everywhere. So what are they?
Okay, so here's the deal. We use it to talk about who we are, right? Like, I am a student. We also use it to describe stuff, like the car is red. And finally, we use it to say where things are, like my keys are over there. Identity, description, location. That's the magic trio.
All right, you've got the why. Now let's get into the how. We're going to break down how you can build your very first sentences using three super simple rules. And don't worry, this is way easier than it sounds. Okay, first things first, the positive statement, or what we call the affirmative. The formula is super simple. You just start with your subjects, and then you add the right version of to be, which is going to be am, is, or are.
Now just take a look at this. You'll see a really clear pattern. It's so simple. I always goes with am, no exceptions. He, she, and it, those guys always use is. And for everyone else, you, we, and they, you're going to use are. That's really the main pattern you need to remember.
So what about making it negative? Well, guess what? It's just as easy. You take that same sentence structure and you just add the word not right after the verb. And when we're talking, we almost always squish is not into isn't and are not into aren't. It just sounds more natural. You can see the pattern is exactly the same, right? We just pop not in there. He is becomes he is not, or more commonly, he isn't. They are becomes they are not, or they aren't. See? Simple stuff. And last but not least, what if you want to ask a question? You know, a simple yes or no question. All you do is a little switcheroo. The verb, am, is, or are, just jumps to the very beginning of the sentence right before the subject, right? So, for example, a statement like, you are tired, just flips to become the question, are you tired? Or, she is a pilot becomes, is she a pilot? You're just inverting those first two words. Seriously, it's that simple.
Okay, so yes or no questions? Check. But what if you need more info than just a yes or a no? That's where these handy WH questions come into play. Let's take a quick look at how you ask for those specific details. Think of these words as little tools, and each one has a special job. Who is for people. What is for things. Where is for places. Why? Well, that's for reasons. And how asks about the way something is. You just stick that WH word right at the very beginning of the question we just learned how to make.
Okay, theory time is over. Let's be real. The best way to get this stuff is to actually see it in action. So let's do a quick fire round of examples to put all of this together. This is where it'll all click. First one up, I am a student. This is your classic positive sentence, talking about who you are. We've got our subject, I, plus am. Perfect. Next up, she is happy. See? This one is describing how she feels. Subject she goes with is, it follows our rule exactly. And how about this one? They are at home. Here we're talking about a location. Subject they plus are. You can already see how these three basic uses cover so much ground.
Okay, let's switch to a negative. He is not tired. We just added not right after is. And remember, you could also say, and probably would say, he isn't tired.
And here's a great example with that contraction we talked about. We aren't late. That's how most people would say it in a normal conversation. It just means we are not late.
Now let's try a question. Who is she? This is a perfect WH question.
You've got your question word, who, right at the front, and then that little flip we practiced, is she. And one more for good measure. Where are you? We're asking about a place, so we use where, and then we follow it with our inverted question form. Are you?
So when you boil it all down, the verb to be is like your Swiss Army knife for English. It's the key that lets you do 3 of the most important things in any language: make introductions, describe things, and say where stuff is. That's the stuff you need for pretty much any conversation you're ever going to have.
So now you've got the key, you have the tool, you know what it is, when to use it, and how to use it in positive sentences, negative sentences, and questions. So the real question is, what are you going to say first?